Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to share with you today a flip through of these science curriculums from Generation. I have God Made Plants and God Made Everything. So their first level and their second level. If you don't already know, I'm a mom of 5 and I'm currently homeschooling my 3 oldest. All right, so this is a Bible-based, open and go, no teacher's guide needed. You can do this with multiple grades at a time. This is a book where I feel I can sit down and read it with my kids and kind of like a living book. Like you're just enjoying it, you're engaged. And it also comes with activities, comes with an activity book. So this has everything I really didn't know I needed for a science curriculum. Since trying to find a science curriculum for my elementary kids, it was a challenge, and I had been kind of standoffish about diving into science at their young ages. And really just because I feel like some science curriculums include things that don't apply to them. But these books have information that you can actually use and interesting information and not just facts. All right, so first I'm going to start with God Made Everything, and I'll do a flip through of that since it's their level 1. I originally was just going to do it with my kindergartner since online it says it's for like kindergarten and first grade. But then looking through it, I realized my 7 and 8-year-old are going to enjoy this too. And they have enjoyed it. And occasionally my 3.5-year-old joins in on the activities. But so yeah, after I'll do this, then I'll jump into God Made Plants. So God Made Everything has a little bit of everything science-wise in this book. So here we have the table of contents, chapter 1. We have what is light. We have chapter 2, shadows, reflections, and bending light, the sun and other kinds of light, the eyes welcome light. The earth is big, the crust, water, the year and its seasons, air, sky, the moon, our nightlight, outer space, parts of a plant, the life cycle of plants, how plants make food, God's amazing variety of plants, what makes bugs crunchy, what makes an insect special, different kinds of insects, yummy and yucky, crunchy creatures. We have not gotten to that one yet, and I'm sure that will be very enjoyed. Okay. Fish and other underwater creatures, amphibians, reptiles, strange reptiles, God's gift of flight, beaks, feet, and eggs, bird migration, Beamer's favorite birds, and what is a mammal? Hoofed mammals, paw and claws, feet, flippers, and wings, the way you are, how you know what you know, your body works automatically, moving and learning. As you can tell why I wanted to get an overview of these subjects before diving into God Made Plants. I feel all this is important to know. All right, so the introduction, this textbook is for listening, seeing the beautiful pictures, and moving. Basically, this book will grab your attention because of all the real pictures. They have this as a 3-day-a-week curriculum. Day 1, you read the first section, and then you do the activity in the activity book. And then day 2, break. Day 3, read aloud the section and then do the activity. Day 4, break, and day 5, read aloud and do the activities. May God be glorified, and may you be richly blessed as you study his creation in God Made Everything. All right, so I will just flip through some of this, and as I'm flipping through, then I'll open up the activity book and see what activity you have for today. In each lesson, we're going to have a Bible verse and definition in each lesson. So as you can see, chapter 1, the first lesson is just this page, that and that. Reading that, and then there's time to do activity 1. The second lesson starts here, and you're reading this and reading that. And then it's time to do activity 2. So as you can see, now here's the third lesson, God Made Colors. And you're reading that in a prayer, and time to do activity 3. So what I like is this can be done, the reading part can be done in, 10 minutes. Kids can talk and ask questions, and then 10 minutes for the activity time. So it's a very doable science curriculum. You don't have to be scared thinking that, oh gosh, it's going to take my whole day. No, this is a simple curriculum that is definitely doable. I wouldn't have gotten it with 5 kids under 8 years old if I didn't think I could do it. But, all right, so I definitely love the amazing pictures, and it has information in here that is detailed enough that, my 8-year-old is interested and she's learning something. We loved looking at the pictures. Here's a reflection of when the water is still and calm, and then they're talking about light, the reflection in rippled water. We were able to use this chapter, and then in art, we were able to use this by practicing drawing shadows, drawing reflections in our pictures. My kid will, the 5-year-old, when he goes outside, he'll bring up, hey, it's a shadow, doing shadows, like we learned about. So they'll talk about like what we learned about. When light bends, all right, I will go ahead and show you the activity we did for the sun and other kinds of light. So here's their Bible verse. Time to do activity 7. So I'll show you what we did in the activity book. They really enjoyed that. The bouncing off everything, you're going to roll the ball against the wall at different angles. Try rolling it against objects with different shapes. And see how it bounces for light, and also you're going to pretend to be light. You can write the memory verse. This activity book is not like questions and answers. It is, I wouldn't say experiment book, but basically more along that lines as opposed to question and answers. But it does have some, so you can't reuse this. It's not supposed to be reusable. It's supposed to be consumable, even though the pages are really nice and thick. Okay, here we have activity 7, talking about the light. So they have get a styrofoam ball and hold it and rotate it in your hands while someone holds a flashlight. So the kids had a lot of fun with that, except we didn't have a styrofoam ball in the house at that moment. Yes, they do have a list of everything you would need for each activity in the chapter. So I could have prepared, but I didn't. So we just use an orange, and that's okay because they even give that example here that you can just use an orange. And I wrote with a Sharpie. I kind of drew, the world on it. That was a little fun. And I marked a couple places on the world. So whenever the light would shine on that part of the world, we would pretend to wake up. And then when it was turning and it was getting dark, we would pretend to sleep. So that's just one example of a fun, simple activity that didn't take much of my time, but they had so much fun with it. And other activities, like I was told, I'm the best mom ever, for doing some of these things. So that's super sweet. Okay, let's go through a couple more of these, and then I'll flip through the God Made Everything activity book. So here we're talking about light and, different light bugs make light. The eyes welcome the light. We're going to talk about a little bit of anatomy here. The pupil, iris. So let's flip through. All right, so we're talking about the crust now. So as you can see, different types of rocks, even though they have this listed for kindergarten, first grade, this definitely has some information that can be used for the older grades. I like this, the change crust. We don't know what the Earth's crust looked like right after God created it. We do know that the huge flood God sent when Noah lived made a lot of changes. And then they give the Bible verse. So as I'm skimming it, I may just be saying simple topics, but it does cover a little bit more complicated topics. All right, so we're at chapter 8, the year and its seasons. God gave some animals special blood to keep them alive in cold weather. We have a memory verse. We have a hymn to sing. There's a lot of hymns to sing when you start a new unit. We have the wind, and layers of the sky. All right, so let's look up activity 29. Here we have snowflakes. So activity 29. Here's activity 22, talking about the rotation of the Earth. Activity 24, hibernation, 5 senses, how to put out a fire. Activity 27, wing it. You're going to staple a cardboard tube left from a paper towel or toilet roll. Pinch the tube together to make flat back and edge. And then it's the shape of a wing. Wings make it possible for birds or airplanes to rise up off the ground and fly. Is your cardboard ring strong enough to let you fly? I'm going to practice that. Activity 28, I know we haven't gotten to this activity 29. I know we just passed it. Pumpkin spice, you're going to make pumpkin spice mix. So really a variety. You're going to tell your kid to swing, and it's a nice rhyme. They're going to practice that. So really, I feel like kind of Charlotte Mason type approach where you're using things you have around the house, things you do every day, and learning from them. So I really like. All right, 29. Here we have the clouds. And you're going to make these 3 kinds of clouds with cotton balls and glue. So that will be a definitely fun activity. And then we have, looks like this next chapter this is of snow. So we have the activity 30. They are doing snowflakes. So some of these, my older kids have done them before, but they will definitely enjoy making this again. And I love how it kind of gives the pattern and shows what you can make if you cut them like those. All right. So moon shapes. It is super fun. Let's look at, these are some amazing pictures. All right, so we have high tide, low tide, talking about the moon and solar eclipse. We have a prayer we can say, the Psalms, definitions, our solar system, and beautiful plants. Talking about how liquid moves inside a plant. The life cycle, pollen and eggs equal seeds. We have some definitions: stomata, chlorophyll, deciduous trees. Trees and the woody plants, water plants, the desert. Now we're going to get into exoskeletons of bugs. Insects, they will have fun doing this. We'll see what they say about this picture. That's amazing. That's an amazing bug. Spiders. We get to talk about the underwater now. Fish and shells. Beautiful Bible verses there with Jonah and so strange reptiles. They're gonna really like this one. Talking about there are even a few places in the Bible that seem to be talking about dinosaurs. That has some Bible verses about those and about these flying reptiles. So definitely love how this is a Bible-based science curriculum, because you won't be able to find that anywhere else. All right, so now we're going to get into chapter 11, the moon and our night life. So you're going to get to talk about high tide and low tide, the solar eclipse, and we have prayers, a prayer that you can say. Look at outer space, the galaxy and the Milky Way. We have plants, which is one reason why I wanted to do this first before doing God made plants, because a little information could help first. All right, so liquid moves inside plants. Both kinds of tubes are able to move a lot of liquid around in even the largest trees. That's great. Life cycle of plants, pollen, how plants make food, deciduous trees. And then we kind of go around the world with the trees, and now we have the insects, and talking about the exoskeletons and cold-blooded animals, caterpillars, different kind of insects, butterflies and moths, yummy and yucky, crunchy creatures. Really, really love the pictures and how they connect it to the Bible. So, just a little sneak peek. We also get to do flying reptiles and the Bible verse of flying reptiles. And one reason why I really was looking for a Christian, or a Bible-based science, is because when they talk about dinosaurs, they use Bible verses. They're not going to talk about all the false things that people have heard. Ocean creatures. Let's see what the activity 72 is in the activity book. Let's see, we're activity 70 right now. You're going to do fossil prints. You're going to make craft dough and gather things like seashells, sticks, leaves. I'm going to repeat the memory verse. And here's a recipe for craft dough. And I love how it reminds you to thank God that we can learn about the dinosaurs from fossils. And 71, the behemoth sculpture. Make a sculpture of how behemoth in the Bible may have looked. Use your craft dough saved from activity 7. And then they're going to give you examples of how to start making that. Then it connects it to Job. And it says about what behemoth, the description of it. Sing the hymn, repeat the memory verse for this unit. Praise God for such a huge animal that shows his power. And the kids like singing hymns too. Not that we really know them, but it's still fun. Time to do activity 72, and we have draw Leviathan. And there talks about what the Bible says about it so that you can draw it. Maybe Leviathan had sharp scales like these small lizards do. All right. Just a short. It's so interesting to do a short. You know, we get to do inside birds and eggs. Talk about that, which is great. They always ask where the eggs comes from. Animals that make milk. I don't want to give you too much. It's so exciting, but I won't read the whole thing for you. All right, then we're talking about the ocean animals, and we get to do a little bit of DNA and a baby's development. How you know what you know, and this is great, a little bit about your body and how you can feel things, the nerves, how smell works, how taste works. All right. How muscles contract. All right, so I will just flip through this and we will do a flip through of the God-made plants. As you can see, you get to write memory verses, so there is some writing along with the activities. And so here we have an avocado egg, avocado pollen. Green is such a nice color. Aren't you glad God made chlorophyll green? There are so many different colors of green in the plants of the world. You're going to read Psalms, and you're going to make a chlorophyll painting. Cotton swabs, scissors, green leaves, glue. Beautiful. I'm sure the bug craft will be pretty interesting. Oh, here we have pretend you are a mess-eating insect. Clean up your room or another place your parents suggest. As you pick up things, pretend you are eating them. When you put the things where they belong, pretend you are going into the dirt. If you do a good job, you won't notice the mess anymore. That's great. Frogs, turtles, so some coloring activity pages, which are always good. Sometimes I just do those while I'm reading. Honey activity, and camels and deers and hooves. Very creative activities. Not your normal, just boring activities. All right, God Made Plants is the level 2 science. So I will skim through, but this has a lot more than just like a briefing of it. It goes deep into seeds and ovule and pollen tubes growing from the pollen of a lily. So this is a beautiful picture. So listening, seeing, moving. This is also the same as God Made Everything, where it's a 3-day science curriculum for the week, which is great. Definitely made for homeschoolers. You can definitely find 15 minutes of your day 3 times a week. Okay, so how to use this God Made Plants book. They are going to say that the very last unit of God Made Plants is actually guiding you and your child to making a small garden, which is really cool. That basically the point of learning is to actually use what you learn, and so they are taking this and they are actually going to use what they're learning. So they will tell you that there's only like 88 activities, 89 activities in the activity book, because you will be working in doing the unit 9, planting a garden. So there's not as much activities in the activity book as there was in God Made Everything, so that you can still get this all done in a year and it's not going to be overwhelming. And you'll want to start this book in the fall, because you really want to start your soil and get it with the right vitamins, the right texture. Everything starts with the soil, so if your soil is bad, then your plants won't really grow and you'll be sad in the spring. I've had that happen before. So I've definitely learned. I know my kids have some experience with a garden, but this will be a great way to really put them in charge of something, even if I just give them one section of the garden to work with, or if I just give them like a 2x4 on the side of the shed or something, where they get to plant something themselves and really be in charge of it. I love how it has even Bible verses about planting. So in each season, they will tell you what to do for each season. Making compost, preparing your garden plot, digging up the dirt, and designing it. And they will give helpful advice for different produce. Peas, carrots, perennials. You learn what a perennial is. Strawberries, raspberries, roses. And then you'll get to the summer and it'll give you the directions for that. And all the way till you are harvesting in the fall. And it'll tell you about different pests. So this is really, really cool introduction for the kids. All right, so the garden you can work in while you're doing this, or it says if you just want to keep on schedule and follow this book, then you can work on the garden weekends or evenings is what it says. All right, so first it talks about food. We have food. God fills the earth with supplies, and it talks about how plants and different materials, cotton, wood, cardboard, rope, all that is made. So this is really good, useful information that I think everyone should know. Starting a fire, putting out a fire, grasslands. And you're going to talk about the animals in grasslands. And then we have flowers, leaves, redbud blossoms, the animals in those kind of forests. And you always, of course, are going to have a Bible verse, a memory verse for that week. Some of these pictures they remind me of living overseas. Stems in motion. Sorry, reminded me of childhood. All right, and then we're talking about a different forest, and we have, for every beast of the forest is mine. Psalms 50, verse 10. Talking about how biennials, carrots, and beets are plants, not annuals, and they aren't perennials. They are biennials. That means they take 2 years for them to sprout, make seeds, and die. Why do roots grow securely underground? We have about the tundra, cushion plants, lichen. We're going to talk about fruits and flowers. And in the Bible, God often uses fruit as an example to show how he will bless his people. And we have some chocolate. Those taste so good when they're just eaten like that. So when it gets to fruit, then we get to tropical rainforest and going to talk about how the sun forms winter, summer. And we get to talk about seeds. Tractor sowing seeds today by scattering. And a lot of Bible verses about that. And sowing and generation. So we have some definitions. They say that you could use this level 2 book. I think they have it listed under 2nd grade maybe. And they say that you can use it the 2nd to 4th. I definitely say that you could use this up till 6th grade. It's very engaging. I love how you can just sit down and read this on the couch, and the kids will want to keep reading. So freshwater biome, and you get photosynthesis bacteria, the different zones, nutrition power, and different minerals. You get to talk about minerals. That's awesome. All right, so then we get there. I will flip through the activity book. Even though the activity book is kind of hard to flip through to actually know what you're going to do. Here you get to, since you're talking about different fuel and how the earth can make fuel, you get to write with wood ash, soot. You get to write with a soot and write letters. Make a leaf connection, chemistry coloring page. Super cute. I know my son's going to like that activity. So we have some orchids. Set a guard over my mouth. Breathing leaves can remind us to ask the Lord to set guards over our mouths. When we picture the mouth-shaped guard cells in leaves, we can ask him to keep watch over our lips so that only good words will come out. You get to make applesauce and fruit leather from that. Some coloring and plants that catch animals. Here we have the vitamins. It does tell you Just cute, cute, cute. Super cute. It does tell you in the beginning of the book what supplies you will need so that you can prepare ahead of time. But most of the stuff will just be around the house, and they will even give suggestions of a second supply if you don't have the first one on hand. Anyways, I hoped that this flip through really helps you know if you would like God made plants or God made everything or both, because they're super fun and engaging. And as always, if you're trying, you are doing a great job. So don't give up, and I'll see you next time. So subscribe so you can know when I will be doing another review of Generations, because I have the phonics one and I have the Bible one. So it will be great, and I'll talk to you later.